Thankfully, being on holiday isn't stopping me from getting out this episode 2. Last week, Keith, the SS1 champion, won its way through to the Samurai Elite middleweight final. And this week, we have 6 more robots, one of which will fight Keith to become champion at the end of this episode. So let's get straight into Heat 2, starting off with a rumble of the entire SS2 podium.
Genki.
Built by Small Rose, Mean Red. Built by KJ, Slyvern. Built by Nori 1240, Emerations X. It's Emerations that gets revenge for its loss to Mean Red in SS2, going through to the quarterfinals as Mean Red and Slyvern are in the redemption round. And now we get into our final middleweight rumble for Samurai Elite. Another champion fighting 2 robots, returning after missing out on SS3.
Lovely.
Built by Nikki Gustial, Voyager. Built by Cypher, Bone. Built by Small Rose, Bullet. I consider that a bit of an upset. Voyager KO's Bullet after Bone Eater was eaten by Bullet. Voyager is in the quarterfinals. Now let's get on with the redemption round. First up, Slyvern fights Bullet in a rematch from the quarterfinals of SS3. Going to a decision for the first time this week. What an upset! The SS3 champion is out at the first round. Slyvern into the quarterfinals, surprisingly. In our final redemption round fight, Bone Eater fights Mean Red. Bone Eater gets eaten by Mean Red as the SS2 champion manages to avoid falling without a win as the SS3 champion did. And now we have the quarterfinals. First up, Slyvern fights Emerations. 1v1 after meeting in the Rumble.
Lovely.
have another decision? And I'd say this one's another surprising win for Slyvern, as it beats Emerations 11-4 to reach the semi-finals. And our final quarter-final, Mean Red fights Voyager. Voyager goes on a voyage of the Uta Zone as Mean Red moves on to the semi-finals, where we have, in this week's heat final, a rematch from the semi-finals of SS2. Is Slyvern finally going to get revenge on Mean Red? Or is Mean Red going to prevail again? The underdog is dead. Mean Red goes through to the final to fight Keith. And let's get straight into it. Who's gonna be the first robot to win 2 Sakura Sunrise trophies? Is it gonna be the SS1 middleweight champion or the SS2 middleweight champion? Let's find out.
Lovely.
Neon extends his lead over Rose for most Sakura Sunrise trophies won by one builder in a fight that otherwise would have tied the record between the two. Keith is your Sakura Sunrise Bushido middleweight Samurai Elite champion and the first champion of SSB. So that's the middleweight Samurai Elite done. Next week we're gonna start with the cruiserweight Samurai Elite. I'll see you then.